In this chapter, we will dive into the power of the position parameter in Gsap. With this feature, you can control the timing and sequence of your animations, create custom motion paths, and add complexity to your designs. When creating a timeline, you can use the position parameter to precisely control when each animation begins and ends. By setting the position of an animation within a timeline, you can ensure that it plays at the exact moment you want it to. For example, if you have a timeline with 3 animations, you can set the position of each animation to begin at different points in time, creating a cascading effect that produces a more complex animation. Let's see an example of a simple timeline that contains 3 twins and utilizes the position parameter to set the timing of each twin. In your HTML files, you will see 3 circles. Let's first add them to a timeline. Pause the video and add the example to your file. Now let's take a look at the result. The first green circle takes 1 second to move along the x-axis. Once that animation is complete, the timeline moves on to the next animation, which moves the blue circle in 1 second. Finally, the timeline animates the yellow circle in the same way. It uses method chaining to create a timeline that animates each circle one after the other. Now I'll change the duration of the first twin from 1 second to 2 seconds. Let's see what happens. If you change the duration of the first twin in a timeline, it will affect the position of the second and third twins in the timeline. Now let's say that I want the second circle to start animating 1 second after the first circle finishes. To do that, I will add the position parameter to the second circle. You can use the +=1 notation in quotes as the position value for the second twin to indicate that the position value is relative to the previous twin. Let's see the result. You will notice a gap before the second circle animates. So the first circle will animate, then there is a 1 second pause, then the second one will animate followed by the third. Let's say we want the second circle to start animating 1 second before the first twin ends. To achieve this, we can change the position parameter of the second circle twin to -1 using the notation -=1. If we visualize now, we will see that the first circle begins animating 1 second before the first one ends. So far, we have discussed the relative position parameter in Gsap timelines. Now let's shift our focus to the absolute position parameter. The key difference between absolute and relative positioning is that absolute positioning allows you to precisely control the timing of each twin in the timeline, regardless of the duration of the previous twins. This can be useful when you need to create complex sequences of animations with precise timing. When using the absolute position parameter in Gsap timelines, you only need to provide the number value, without using any quotes. This is because the absolute position parameter is a fixed value that represents the exact time when the twin should start in the timeline, unlike the relative position parameter, which is a value relative to the previous twin's end time. Let's go to our code and change the second twin to start at the time of 2 seconds and the third one at the time of 3 seconds. Overall, this code creates a timeline with 3 twins that moves 3 circles to the right, with the second and third twins starting at specific positions in the timeline. That's all for this lesson. See you in the next one.